restaurants, hotels, and bars. Place your orders now on telephone 501-4087 or 644-8999. With fresh seafood daily, Dave's offers custom cuts of your choice: snapper, trout, banger, gillback, shrimp, crab, and more. Order today. Dave's, Guyana's largest exporter to the USA.
Now Milko has done it again. We've listened to you, and now available nationwide. Another convenient sized packaging of Thunderbolt all-purpose flour. It's here. The 5 kg or 11 pounds new packaging of Thunderbolt all-purpose flour. Now available at your nearest supermarket.
Now Milko, National Milling Company of Guyana.
Looking for quality lumber for your dream home or an upcoming project? Then make Builders Lumberyard your premier provider. We provide a full selection of rough and dress lumber, such as Green Heart, Purple Heart, Kabakali, all types of mixed hardwood, Silver Bali, Ditarma, and many other species. We also stock clean and knotted pine doors in various sizes, Qualable posts, farm boards, plywood, and all types of molding. Orders can be cut to any specification and delivered to your worksite. With over 25 years of experience in the lumber industry, we are determined to provide a quality lumber that meets our home builders and contractors' every need. Builders Lumberyard and you will always be a winning combination. Visit our main office at 12 Lombard and Deroy Street or our branch office at 66 Ben Street, Georgetown, or telephone 225-9530 227-0904.
It's here! Igloo Ice Cream Fruit Bars. 4 mouth-watering flavors. Mango, pineapple, strawberry, and soursop. A beautiful combination of real fruit and igloo ice cream. Go old school with fluty popsicle. Classic flavors and refreshing goodness. Available at Igloo outlets and all your favorite shops. You don't leave anything to chance. Every day you click it, lock it, and mask up. Now press, rub, and wash with Sterling Super Soap. Our antibacterial formula eliminates 99.9% of all germs and bacteria. Clean and moisturize your hands with 4 refreshing and rejuvenating fragrances. Get super clean with Sterling Super Soap.
Good evening and welcome to another program of the Sean Devers Sports Watch. It's Tuesday, April 28th, still in the year 2026, and I'm inviting you to this program. We're talking about boxing. It should be a very exciting program with Leon Moore, the trainer for Elton Dari, a former Guyana champion, Leon Moore. Reds Barrera, the veteran who's seen it all. He's done commentary in a lot of boxing matches, including some world title fights. And of course, Mike Benjamin, the former middleweight and lightweight national champion. He's now turned a journalist, and we're expecting him on the program. And of course, we've got boxing historian Oswald Pierce, and also we're going to talk to IBO, the new IBO Super Bantamweight champion, Elton Dari. So this program comes to you with the compliments of Dave's West Indian Imports, Sterling Products Limited, KFC, Namalco, Builders Lumberyard, and Survival Supermarket. Good night to you, everybody, whatever you're doing, wherever you're doing it from. I want to say good night to you. Of course, let's talk about recap what happened last Saturday night. The Lion and the Bull card. Dari beat Salam Kasim from Tanzania to win the world title. This was his first time he's won a world title and now joins an elite group of Guyanese to win world titles. Congratulations to you, Elton Dari. And Kevin Alicock stopped Dexter Marks in the 5th round by TKO. Dexter Marks wasn't so pleased with the stoppage, but he lost the fight to Alicock. Alicock now the new national featherweight champion of Guyana. And of course, Amsterdam continuing his bulldozing of his opponents, knocking out Jamaican Kevin Hilton in the 1st round. All of his fights now, he's fought 3 professional fights, and they've all ended in 1st round knockouts. Good night to my mom, Juliet Devers Chapwanya. Good night to my good friend, Clive Atwell, who is watching from the country of Australia. Good night to you and your wife and sons. And hello to my dear friend, Shawnette Singh. And thanks for all the help with my mom today. So that's what we've got now. Let's see who's joined us. Reds.
Yeah, you got a big lineup. You nearly got a title fight, Sean. But
Yeah, so I'm the referee for that title fight.
okay.
Yeah, Reds. Who else has joined? Larry?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, the champion is here.
Good night. Yes.
Good night. You can hear me, Oswald?
Yes,
Yeah,
Oswald is
good
here.
night.
And
You
who?
see me?
No, I'm not seeing you yet. The technical man has got to put my the video on the screen, but I'm hearing you. But everybody else is seeing you, except me. So who else is there? Benji. Oh, Michael Benjamin, the former Ghana national lightweight champion turned journalist. Wonderful. And it was Benji who got me doing boxing reporting, because I went to shoot photos with him. Yeah. Yeah, good evening, guys. How are you doing? I'm not seeing Ozzy, though. Ozzy?
I don't know why my camera. I don't know what's happened to my camera.
Okay. You got to buy a new one.
But
Invest-
like I gotta go and I wanted to walk on my laptop, but like I gotta go back to the phone.
All right, let's talk about the card briefly. Dari, you've now completed, mission completed. I wrote on your, when you were lying in the bed on that photo, mission completed. How does it feel to finally, after so many years and so many fights, win a world title? You went once in Australia, but things didn't go your way. So this is the second time now you fought for a world title, and this is big because it's on home soil. You must be elated.
I I feel a bit relief, not constantly worrying when I'm gonna be a champion, because I've always had it on my mind every day. Um, in this sport, becoming a world champion. Now I'm world champion. I'm a little relief that if I retire today, I know I've accomplished what I set out to accomplish. So I'm excited. I'm happy with that. Um, Still want to do a few more. I have to think about if I'm going to continue with a few more, but I've always wanted to do 40 professional fights. I did 38 there. So I'm looking forward to two more.
Well, you got to talk
But
to
yes,
the wife
I
because
feel accomplished with that
there
fight. Yes.
is Clive Alicock, is Clive Atwell on the line. He's watching from Australia, and he knows what happens when you try to extend your stay. Well, tell us a little bit about this fight.
I just don't like to entertain these things, Sean. I don't like to entertain anything that happened bad to anyone or what could happen. Even if it happened, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to. I don't want that. I feel bad when it happened to anyone. I don't want it to happen to anyone. But that is far from my mind. I don't want it in my mind. My mother wouldn't say that without me saying something. So that right there, let's entertain the positive in everything. That what the worst can happen. People fail in life when they start entertaining the negative and what the worst can happen, and not the opposite of it.
Yeah.
But I entertain all the opposite of the negative.
How
That's
would,
why I'm still here all these years, and I've been through a lot. But I don't think of what can happen worse. I think of what can happen, and I can be successful at anything. So maybe I'm not making sense to you or put things in
yeah.
proper words to
They
you,
say
but
failing to try
yes,
is trying to
yeah.
fail, and
Let's not
failing,
even
gotten failing in your
let's not even
mind
entertain that.
is
You know, one
halfway
time
to
in my life I
losing.
was not. Listen to this. In my entire life, I was knocked out one time in my life, knocked out cold, and I was out for hours. I can't remember. They took me to the hospital. I spent a week in the hospital, and that knockout came from not boxing, not from a fight. It came from playing cricket. So cricket is more dangerous to me. I can say that, right? Because I was knocked out playing cricket with a cricket bat. I was keeping the wicket, and the player, the batsman swing his bat around the wicket and hit my head. Knocked
Wow.
out cold years ago. I'd never been knocked out in boxing, and boxing is supposed to be so dangerous. So I'm not gonna say nonsense. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I'm not gonna say shit. A lot of people passed away driving,
Yeah.
walking to the street, getting robbed in the store.
Yeah,
So those things
there's
are more
several
dangerous than
ways
fighting.
that you can die
Yeah, so
or
let's
get
not go
injured.
there because those things I don't put in my mind.
All right, tell us about this fight. Did you expect such a tough fight from that guy? He's
And
just 22 years old. He's very talented. He's got a far way to go. I didn't expect such a tough fight for you.
I just don't like when people say just 22 years old, because I know who I was when I was 22 years old. You better run from me at 22 years old. You know, I saw him fight. He's the WBO African champion. I've seen fights that they removed from the media so people can't study them. Fights that this guy beat up some undefeated fighter was um, lightweights, and I saw clips of him, and I knew I had my hands full. Went into that fight knowing that I had a real fight on my hand. I was a bit nervous for that fight, knowing he's not just 22, he can fight. He's a champion. And usually when you win a belt and you keep fighting and you win again, you get more confident. The more you fight, the better you get. He might have 13 fights, but he's been in with some undefeated guys them that can fight, and he improved every fight. So I knew I had my hands full. I was fighting once a year for 6 years, past 6 years. Once a month for the past, once a year for the past 6 years. So I knew he was sharp. He fought in February the past, fought in December the past. So I knew I had something hard coming. Um, but when he caught me in the second round and knocked me down, I knew like shit, I gotta do something or it's gonna be terrible night for me.
And his style of backing away on his bicycle and getting out of range, did that disrupt your plan of knocking him out? Especially in the last round.
Kinda. Well, I won't say that. I could have get him, even though he was moving away. It wasn't that fast to get him. It wasn't that hard for me to get him. I was advised to be smart and don't overcommit and don't get too aggressive. But I could have get him. But I got close to him and didn't even let a lot of punches go because my corner, tried to get me to be smart and not overcommit because they think I was winning the rounds, even though we weren't doing too much in some of the rounds. They think I won the rounds, so they wanted me to be smart and not get caught again and be knocked out. But it didn't really affect too much because it wasn't too much a fast movement. But I was not expecting him to. That's the part I didn't expect him to move around the way he did. I thought he was going to be more aggressive with me and try to try to put me away because that's what I see in his videos with most of his fights, all of his fights pretty much.
All right, and what do
So, yeah.
you want to say to your fans in Guyana and all over the world, especially in America, who are looking at this
I want
now
to say
on
thank you to
YouTube?
all of them everywhere. Thank you. I appreciate the support. Appreciate the eyes on the fight. I have a great deal of fan base, a great deal of fan base in New York that's waiting for me to get back there. And Iglesias Gym, they're already making their banner to put me up there. So I'm quite honored with that one. And even here in Guyana, the people have been great to me. I feel the support this time around from everyone. There was no negative anything from anybody that I can remember during this period with the fans them here. They've been great and supportive. So I thank all of them. It does help and it does motivate me a whole lot to fight when it's the fun time to fight.
I know you went back to Leguan where you came from. How was the reception there?
That was a very quick trip. Tomorrow I'll be back there, but a lot of people didn't know I went there. I just went there to shoot a documentary that was following me. Gleason Jim sent.
Oh yeah, those
They're,
two guys from Gleason Gym
Yeah,
doing
so
a
they were
documentary
leaving.
on Gleason Gym. Yeah.
Yeah, they were leaving and they wanted to capture where I grew up. So that's the only reason I went to Leguan. But tomorrow I'll be in Leguan and I probably visit the old school. Yeah, yeah, just the reception is always good. The people always been good to me there. They're always gonna show me support and love there because that's where I'm from.
So what do you plan doing now? You still want to be a promoter and a boxing coach? You got more free time now. You've accomplished all the things you want to in boxing. So you can focus your attention on promoting. You still make a lot of money if you promote the right people.
Yes, well, that's in the near future. I'm gonna get into promotion again soon, very soon. But I also had a goal to do 40 professional fights. I did 38. That 2 more don't really have to be major fights, or 12-round fights or big fights. It doesn't have to be big ones or any of that. But I will think of that 2 more, but definitely get back into promotion very soon. I was talking to one of my partners about an event, maybe in the summertime, to do here at the Cliffhanger Sports Hall. So I'm going to look into promotion and try to figure a way out how to get more eyes on the sport here.
And you've got experience. You even promoted our own fights.
Yes, it was difficult to do this fight and promote this fight and fight because I wouldn't be able to focus it the way I wanted to for this one. It would have been maybe a different result had I done that. But now with promotion, I'm not going to be fighting when I promote, so I'll be able to focus on the promotion and the fighters and give my best to make the event more successful and give my best to cater more to the fighters.
All right, Dari, we're showing clips with you and Kasim. Let's ask the other panelists if they want to ask you anything before you go. I know you are late and you want to run, so let's ask Red Spur. What do you want to ask Dari?
Well, first of all, want to congratulate him.
Thank you. Thank you.
Guyana has had a great history of classy boxers.
Yes.
He has joined that list of boxers that make us all proud, and just not all proud, make us the Caribbean proud. But I just want to ask him whether, as he's a champion now, whether looking towards defending the title, looking towards maybe getting a Commonwealth Games shot, whether he should maybe allow other people to promote, get his value for skills, so he can concentrate on defending the title, getting those warm-up bouts he talked about, maybe getting a ranking in the Commonwealth rankings where he can be promoted as part of being Guyanese. That's the question I have for the champion.
Dari?
If I should let other people promote my fight, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so you can concentrate on defending.
Yeah. I definitely will allow that, like I did last weekend. I more would prefer having a promoter promote my fight while I'm in training and focus on a fight. I have no issue with that, but I don't wait around on people. I don't wait for opportunity. If I see nothing's happening and nothing's going on, I just create an opportunity to fight and promote it myself if I have to. That's just how I am. But I will give it my best shot to see who's gonna pick it up, and if someone pick it up, that makes sense, and it have to make financial sense at this point, because I really don't care to do too much fights no more. So if it make that sense, great. They can go ahead and promote me. If not, I will do it myself and do it my way.
Champion, now you're a champion. There are a lot of people probably lining up to get a shot at you. So I think the offers are going to come fast and furious, and I just want to wish you the very best of luck going forward. And
yes, I have offers already with before the fight start, and I just had to win to make sure the offers stayed. And there's offers there, but I'm gonna take a few days off, and I'm gonna spend time with my family. I have some kids at home that I want to be with.
Okay.
And I'm gonna get back to training and allow these people to make me those offers and go forward with my career and finish it off with my 2 fights.
Okay, Sean.
Yeah, Benji, you want to ask Dari anything? Michael Benjamin, are you there? I'm seeing you, but I'm not hearing you. Benji? You got to unmute your mic. Benji? All right, let's go to Ozzy.
Are you with me?
Yeah, Benji.
Yeah, I was answering all the time. I'm sorry, probably the mic was unmuted.
Yeah.
Let me firstly congratulate Elton. Of course, it's a sterling performance, a sterling achievement, and I don't want to say it came a bit late because I'm hearing the enthusiasm in his voice, telling me that he still has a few more years down the line, or maybe a couple more fights, whatever he may have in store. But for me, I was not there at the fight for reasons I best keep to myself. But I was not, at the fight. Sorry about that. But I did follow the results and everything, and I think it is in place for me to say congratulations. And one of the things about boxing is that when you would have aimed for excellence, and to get it, even at this advanced stage of your career, I think that of itself is a big, big plus, and I want to once again congratulate Elton. And whatever you may have in mind for the remaining years, may it be progressive and productive.
Thanks a whole lot. It means a lot coming from you, Mr. Michael. Thank you. Appreciate that a whole lot. It
Ozzy,
was a long road, and I'm
A
happy.
very good night to everyone in the panel, the viewers, and congratulations to Elton. I see him on Facebook, and he's when I post something, he's put like on it, and I put like when he posts something too. I've
Thank
observed
you.
that Elton is still rated by the WBA as the number 7 in the super flyweight division. Um, I don't know. Weight might be not an option at this age, but I've noticed in the March ratings that he's rated at number 7. I want to know if he get an offer, if he would, could give offer, if he would take the chance and go down as against, probably has another option to of defending the title he won. Just those two questions.
I campaigned at super flyweight at the bantamweight. The reason this fight at super bantamweight came up, I had to dig deep for this one. Um, we lost out the opportunity that I had at super flyweight and bantamweight. The organization said this: if you want to fight for a world title, you are in the rankings, you are qualified for the 122 pounder, and I took the risk to go here. This is not my division, but I don't have no problem fighting anybody super flyweight, bantamweight, and super bantamweight. I feel very strong at super bantamweight as well. But if a good offer come up at super flyweight, these guys at super flyweight been running for me for many years. That's the real truth. We had fights that I've signed contract to many times at the super flyweight world title fights, and last minute they pulled the plug on it, and um, sometimes they overprice themselves and my name come up. So I don't know, whoever within those three division, um, give me a good offer, I'll fight. But I can make all the weights.
and
That's nice.
we were expecting your trainer, Leon Moore. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened to him. He was telling me he would have been on this program. I even promoted his name. But he must be having some issues with his internet. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have been here.
Actually, Elton learned from many great Guyanese fighters. I remember Lennox
Yeah.
Blackmore was his trainer at one time,
Yeah.
and the late
I
Patrick
did.
Ford also trained him at one time.
I did. I took all their stuff. I had every Guyanese, not every, but let me go back. I met Colin Morgan, did mid to me. I have Lennox Blackmore, Patrick Ford. I've been around all of them. Rolf Frank. What was this guy? Busy Boy.
Boys,
I think
Busy Boys, Morris Busy Boys.
Kenny Bristol. Everybody was around me a long time. But Lennox Daniel been around me. Mr. Poole been around me. So Leon Moore, he's probably one of the best Guyana trainer ever. And I don't know. I mean, I get teach schooling from some of the great ones Guyana had, and I'm happy about that. I'm happy that I'm part of that pack now.
And you left Guyana as a 13-year-old. You learned to fight in
Yeah.
New York. Yet your first
Yes.
professional fight was at the sports hall when you beat
Yes.
Mark Fernandez.
Mark
Why
Fernandez, yes.
did you come back and fight at home?
Well, I was training with Patrick Ford, and we represented Guyana at the Olympic box off in 2004. And after the Olympic box off, Bristol was doing a show here in Guyana, and Patrick Ford did not like me in the amateurs. He think I had a more of a professional style, and he wanted me to go pro, and I wanted it as well. And the offer came in for me to come to Guyana and do my debut, and I was happy about that. That's why I came back, and I kept that Guyana status on my box rank to this day. as a Guyanese fighter. I never changed it.
And then now you've won the title. Is that disappointment of losing to Maloney in Australia still at the back of your mind, or that's gone now? You're a
I don't
champion.
I don't even I don't even think about Maloney. You know that I don't think about Maloney, to be honest with you. I wish him well when he fight. I'm actually rooting for him when he fight. I want him to win. Uh, his team turned on a rematch with me, and the guy that beat him also, his team turned on a fight to me. So I don't feel too like I'm this loser guy. I didn't get the belt, but I always feel like these guys cannot beat me, even though they beat me and have to win over me. But I'm not thinking about Maloney. I'm happy I'm champion now. I'm world champion and
Yeah.
can live with that.
All right. Anybody else want to ask the champion anything before he leaves?
Which is your toughest fight so far? I mean, the world title fight, but the toughest fight so far in your career?
I've had some rough, brutal fights my early days in Vegas, and had some rough one in New York as well. But my toughest fight, I would say, in 2022 at the cricket stadium, I was medically unfit to be in the ring. And let me tell you, let me tell my medicalist too, I had acid reflux and I couldn't eat food, any type of food. I was more on medication throughout that whole period without being able to eat, dehydrated. And I ended up fighting that man, and he put me through hell in that ring, knocked me down twice as well. So, anyways, I really have to run now because people have been waiting on me,
Yeah.
and we can do another interview another time.
Yeah, well, congratulations
Okay.
on your achievement. You've achieved all that
thank
you
you,
want.
guys.
And thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, guys. Yes.
All right, let's go for a short pause for commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
Cleaning power like no other. Mighty Foam dishwashing liquid cuts through grease and grime every time. Lemon zest, green apple, citrus burst, and wild berry. 4 great fragrances specially formulated with super cleaning, grease fighting power. Mighty Foam dishwashing liquid works hard to get your dishes spotless and is gentle on your hands. Available nationwide.
Igloo sugar-free ice cream. Sugar-free ice cream.
Impossible that you're singing about ice cream without added sugar right now. I mean, how's that going to taste?
It's the best, most delicious I've ever tasted. The premium French vanilla flavor is so rich and velvety. Plus, my gym instructor approves. It's great for my weight loss.
So it's really delicious? Like you aren't kidding me? The children! No added sugar could be healthier for them. And Grandpa Glenn, with his diabetic condition. You mean he could finally enjoy desserts after all these years? I have to go. I have to get this.
Grab Igloo's sugar-free ice cream before she does.
Dave's West Indian Imports is a wholesaler of all types of seafood with their own processing plant. Dave supplies supermarkets, restaurants, hotels, and bars. Place your orders now on telephone 501-4087 or 644-8999. With fresh seafood daily, Dave's offers custom cuts of your choice: snapper, trout, banga, gillback, shrimp, crab, and more. Order today. Dave's, Guyana's largest exporter to the USA.
Surprise your family today with a nice vanilla flavored cake made with Maid Marian cake flour. It's perfect for the birthday, anniversary, special occasion, or just celebrating the joy of having your family together. So get a pack or 2 of Maid Marian cake flour to make that moist, fluffy, vanilla flavored sponge cake, donut shaped cakes, Swiss rolls, and other delicious baked goods. Bring on the smiles with Maid Marian cake flour. Made and packaged not by hand by Nomilco, the National Milling Company of Guyana.
National Milling Company of Guyana.
Craving a meal that's big on flavor but doesn't break the bank? KFC has got you covered with the KFC 3-piece meal deal. Get 3 pieces of chicken, fries, mac and cheese, a biscuit, and a drink. All for just $2,200. It's the perfect deal, available every day. Enjoy your 3-piece meal deal at KFC today. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Looking for quality lumber for your dream home or an upcoming project? Then make Builders Lumberyard your premier provider. We provide a full selection of rough and dress lumber, such as Green Heart, Purple Heart, Kabakali, all types of mixed hardwood, Silver Bali, Ditarma, and many other species. We also stock clean and knotted pine doors in various sizes, qualable posts, farm boards, plywood, and all types of molding. Orders can be cut to any specification and delivered to your worksite. With over 25 years of experience in the lumber industry, we are determined to provide a quality lumber that meets our home builders and contractors' every need. Builders Lumberyard and you will always be a winning combination. Visit our main office at 12 Lombard and Deroy Street or our branch office at 66 Ben Street, Georgetown, or telephone 225-9530 227-0904.
Yeah, well, welcome back to the Sean Dever Sports Watch. Just a minute, getting away from the hour of 8 o'clock in Guyana and right across the Eastern Caribbean. I want to say good night to all those who are looking at the program, and good morning and good afternoon to wherever else you're looking in the world. I know that Clive Atwell is supposed to be looking at the program in Australia. But Reds, who we talk about Dari, and he had his moment of glory, and now we're going to talk about boxing in general. He was so gracious enough to send to my request to come on my program, even if he had something else to do. That's the man. Congratulations, champ. Who's the best boxer you've ever seen? You've seen most of the boxers since 1900.
It's like asking me who's the best West Indies batsman. I wouldn't want to comment on the boxers. I mean, we had some extremely good boxers. You go back to the uncle of Lance Gibbs, Lionel Gibbs. The Barbadians tell me, people like Shell Harris, that Lionel Gibbs was world class. And if he had gone to England, he would have ended up a rater. So I'm not going to go down that route, Sean, about who was the best. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, when I saw Speckles and Border against the Americans, that was a classical display. One of the things that I hope you might have had the president of the boxing board on is what's the future? I mean, you know, the clock is ticking. He's already an age fighter. So what is the actual future? You know, that to me is a very key point. And maybe you can ask the panel, when do you think he needs to be active again? He's not 30, not 32. I think one of the judgment in matching Leonard's Black 4, he should have boxed Sol Mambi and not Pryor. And I think the handlers of the new champion has got to be very careful about what matches they take and things like that, because he's got to look at styles of fight and a number of things. But you might like to share that question with the rest of the panel.
Yeah, but he says he just wants to fight 2 more fights to get a number of fights completed. That's in his mind. But I don't see him going too much of boxing in the ring. He's becoming a better promoter, and he's also gotten the experience of promoting already, including that fight that he talked about when he had illness at the National Stadium. He promoted that fight, but I look at him more now as a boxing coach and a promoter. Michael, Benjamin, we were talking today off the record about the demise of the development system of professional boxing, because we only have a few boxers to choose from over and over again. I even wrote about that in the papers. So when the Adicocks and the Amsterdams and those young coming up now are transferring to professional, and there's not the adequate amateur system because of the demise of Poole, who's been a backbone of that system. And kudos to Steve Val, because he's now continuing what Poole left off in terms of being the president. But since Poole is gone, the fight cards, the local fight cards, have lacked intensity and standard. There are one or few boxers standing out, but they're not a big pool as it used to be.
Are we talking amateur or professional here, Sean?
Professional and amateur. But the amateur is okay, but professional.
You see, I am one to stick around the professional arena, because that's where I would have had most of my experience and my activity in terms of what I did. But there is a lapse in boxing, not only in Guyana, but around the world. Remember hearing of the super fights, the Ray Leonard and the Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard and Wilfredo Benitez, Tommy Hearns, and you know the super fights. Now you hardly get those kind of super fights. You get a couple of them in the heavyweight division. But coming closer to home, I think that there is a distinct lapse in our activities. Yes, there's been several boxers, and I can pinpoint just a couple of them who have been featuring on the international scene. Let's talk about people like Ali Koch. You'll be hearing a lot about him. Basically, him and Amsterdam has been two key figures who've been going and doing things outside. The face of boxing has changed. To be honest, I have noticed the changes. I personally don't approve of many of the things that, well, not I don't approve, because my approval isn't really important, but I don't look at it as, very, I want to choose my words. And in order to do so, let me make a statement in terms of that. Back in the days when I was fighting, people have a way of saying you go back to the future too much. You go back to the future. But I can't help it, because that's what I grew up on. When you're an amateur boxer, you're an amateur boxer. When you're a professional boxer, you're a professional boxer. Now there's this thing of being amateur professional, where you can fight as much as
10 professional fights and still fight at amateur level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I was joking around with someone that then said, boy, I would have liked that to be in my time, because I would have done so many great things. Because when you focus on being a professional, you're a professional. There's a distinct difference between the two fraternities, a distinct difference. Distinct in the rules, distinct in so many things. So I find it difficult to accept. And I'm not saying that I have to accept it, but for me personally, I find it difficult to accept an amateur professional. That is my thing. But otherwise to that, though, we have, I think Ali Koch has been featuring, and then we had Amsterdam, and I think a few other little youngsters who would have been going through their paces and everything. There was a disadvantage as far as I'm concerned, because of this new hype in boxing. But as I said to you before, I try not to, because I've been told that I'm going back to the future too much. But I can't help it. When I was fighting, I would listen to people like Cesar Barrow, Michael Barkov, Ralph Paris, who they're all in the great beyond now. And they would use their experiences back in their time. I heard of so much Kid Chocolate and all those people who I've never seen. But Cesar, especially Cesar, would use those as examples, as to tell me, narrate certain things to me, to encourage you. not only me, but the pool of boxers that he was training, myself, Joseph Murray, I think Pascal David, we were all together. So he would narrate these things to us to give us the encouragement to show us what we are actually at what reaching for. But these days it is a bit dangerous to do that because you hear things like you don't need to go back to the future. So for me, I have no problem with the boxers as they advance to their various to their various aspirations. But I honestly I'm not lauded by or I'm not feeling extremely happy about what is happening in terms of the boxing in that respect. Maybe it's just me, but that's how I know it.
Ozzy, you're a boxing fan and a historian. How do you look at back then and what's happening now and compare it? Not with the financial
Well,
part of it, the talent.
I started following boxing really in this early 70s as a toddler, the Ali Fraser fights. I mean, right? But when I really started to get interested in the game is when Lennox Blackmore won that Commonwealth title in 1977, right? And in those days of boxing, right now you had more undisputed champions. It was hard to get up to be a champion in those days because, for example, in the lightweight, you had Roberto Duran alone and the Jesus, and they would unify the title. So you had one champion with two organizations, the WBA and the WBC, not like now. It was much more difficult to get on top there. And I remember in the days when we used to get a card almost every month. We had boxing promoters like Keep Brazilio, People Syndicate. We had Andre Fay's promotion. We had Paul promotion. We had Kenrat Singh and all these guys who Reds would know about. And I remember distinctly when Blackmore got injured, Patrick stepped in, right? We had a strong amateur system, right? We had Cubans coming on exchange programs, right? So in those days, we had four-star boxers. We had boxers just beneath who would test the top boxers. Then she came in the last days of that. But now, unfortunately, we don't have that. We had at least 10 world-class boxers at one time. And then you had boxers below just who could give you a good fight, right? But right now, we only have two fighters. But Dexter Marks and Gary were the two leading fighters, and they're 40, close to 40. We have Ali Cup coming up now. And I like Benji. I don't agree with the amateur thing. For example, Ali Cook for me still fighting a little like an amateur, although I congratulate him for beating Dexter. I expected Dexter to use his experience, but all said and done, I would like to see Ali Cook now, using more angles, sitting down on his punches more, fighting more like a professional, right? But there's all you have to go back to the past to see what you have. I remember if you look at a young Mike Tyson, he used to look at fighters from Joe Louis and Jack Dempsey. It's only here the youngsters telling you that this was on your time. Mike Paris was in the gym years ago, the country's only Olympic medalist, and he was showing somebody, a youngster, how to throw his hand properly, and the guy was ignoring him. So I had to tell him, who's speaking with you there, right? The guy didn't know that was Mike Paris.
I was trying to get Mike on this program also, but it would have been too many people at one time. So we'll get the old boxers, the good boxers of the past, but it's hard to get them because either they're overseas or they're gone to the great beyond. Ozzy, are you satisfied with the standard of boxing now? Professional, we're talking about.
Oh, it's not as high as it used to be.
Reds,
frank on that.
Yeah, Reds, what do you think of the young boxers and comparing them to boxers who have not even won world titles like Patrick Ford, Lennox Blackmore, and all of those, Terence Ali? They've never won a world title, but we've got 6 Guineas. And that's also, if you think to say, 8 Guyanese have now won world titles.
Seven.
If you include, technically, grammatically, it's right because Dennis Andrews was a Guyanese, but he didn't fight under the golden arrowhead. So, Reds, you back in the days, how do you categorize Dennis Andrews?
No, he was a British fighter, Guyanese born. It's like Randolph Turpin. He was 50% Guyanese. He beat Sugar Ray Robinson, but he was fighting for Britain. We can't claim him as a Guyanese title holder because, as you said, he wasn't fighting for the red, green, and gold. But I think the question you asked me has been answered already. Going back to when Mike Benjamin was around, the standard was much higher. The standard was much higher. But, you know, you're dealing with a generation now who is not just thinking about boxing, but thinking of the future. They need to ensure that, you know, they are involved in employment, that they're building for the future. Where many years ago, you had guys who were totally committed to the boxing, hardly had a day job every week. But society has changed. There are so many options now for young people. It's hard maybe to get the boxers that we used to get. I think we got to go back to the gym structure. I believe that the gyms got to be encouraged. It's got to be more organized. You just can't have a coach and maybe a manager in a gym. You got to have an executive that is going to work towards promoting the gym, fundraise, ensure the boxers are training, ensure that they're getting their medical checks. The gyms just can't be coach manager. The gym has got to be more organized. And I think if you have the gyms operating at a higher level, you will have the boxers operating at a higher level. But, you know, you've got a very active amateur board. It's just sometimes, you know, West Indies right now are going through a fairly meek period. So these things, the talent comes in waves, you know. Talent comes in waves. Right now, the schoolboy tournament is a good idea, and it's important that those guys are kept in the gyms and kept active and given opportunities. And I feel that, you know, a couple of years ago, Steve Ninval made a statement, and he said that we need to go towards Central America. We need to get more bouts against people from Latin America, Colombia, and things like that. And I think that's the way to go. We really need to expose our boxers at a high level.
All right, Benji, you fought as a professional from 1986 to 2000, and then you got into journalism. Why you got into journalism, sports journalism?
I think that, well, I loved writing from the very inception. That was my strong point in school. I loved English, I loved writing. And then I actually, when I went into boxing, sometimes I'd be walking on the road. I tried first with the commentary. I used to listen to Reyes Ferreira and Bill Crombie and those guys. But Bill Crombie was extremely fast when he was commentating boxing. But I listened to these people, and I used to walk along the street and talk to myself, pretended that I was commentating a fight. And I always wanted to get in the mix of things. I am not certain how I navigated, how I reached to the actual writing in front of the others, because I did some television I did some computer, the computer well came on. And everything. But the thing about it though is that I wanted to be involved in boxing, and there's no ifs and buts that I physically that was out. I had been, they say, how Elton is saying he's at a crossroads now. But I had passed the crossroads and I finally decided, well, I think it's enough for me. So for me to be involved in boxing, to give back something to boxing, it had to be from an academic, if you can use that word, perspective, where I got involved not only from the writing, but also from the television, and also I did that. I had a program on television and everything. But basically, I felt I wanted to get involved in the game from a pragmatic perspective. I needed to be there to see and everything. So for me, it was just a natural. And because I started writing boxing, and that was my niche, that was my main niche, it just blossomed out like that. Of course, there are many people who would have encouraged me, who would have seen the talent in me, and they went on David Carey, may God rest his soul, was one of the very first person. Well, not David Carey, Donald Duff, who was a very good friend also, a
Yeah.
former journalist, a journalist from out of
Stabrook
Starbuck
News.
News.
Yeah, he was my sports editor when I worked there. Or in
Well,
Davison
Donald was
also.
the person. Donald was the person who recognized in me that talent, and he took me to Mr. DeCarey's. And Mr. DeCarey said, "Okay, let me see what you can do." And the very first article I presented to him, I got a feature in the Starbuck News. Knockout punch, the Michael Bennett knockout punch. Although I mean, all that is now history, but for me, I did many other disciplines, but boxing has always been me. I always felt that I need to document boxing, I need to report on boxing because boxing is me. Like how I know that where you're a cricketing can I call you a fanatic, Sean?
That
a
might be
critic, a critic,
too strong a word.
Well, we use that word in boxing fanatic, and that, basically it is not right. But basically that was it for me, and I still love boxing. Still try to do what I can for boxing, but sometimes you need to step back and look in and see what's happening before you could readjust yourself, which is basically the period I'm in right now.
And you might not know this, it's you who got me into writing on boxing. I always loved boxing. My grandfather took me to the sports hall back in the days, and I always loved boxing. But when I went with you to take out pictures at boxing, and you retired or stopped working, I picked up the mantle, and that's how I became a boxing writer. I'm sure you didn't know that.
Well, I don't have to know everything, but I know that I knew when you were making a transition. Because when I heard Sean, I taught cricket basically. And then I saw you started making a transition at Kaieteur. And, I think I read your article today, well documented. I mean, there's still some things to be learned, and we all are at that stage at some point. But I think it was a fair effort, and you move on, and
And
it's
that's why
good
I
that someone
always
can fill the
talk
gap.
to you about boxing stories, because you're the boss with that. Anyway, Red Spear is the boss of cricket commentary, boxing commentary, every commentary. Um, and still his name is not on the media center. I had to put in that. So, Reds, how is basically amateur boxing in the rest of the Caribbean, especially in St. Lucia? I know you are the past president of the St. Lucia Boxing Association. I might be wrong. There's a Guyanese who was also the president there. He told me recently he's not the president anymore. Shakes. But how is boxing in the rest of the Caribbean? Amateur level, Ghana always dominates.
Well, I think you have to take into consideration that there's a new world body for boxing, which is controlled, and they will be in charge in the upcoming in the Olympics. The previous International Boxing Federation is no more, and most of the Caribbean countries, except Dominica, Jamaica, and Barbados, they were the only members of the present World Organization. So that transition is taking place now. And I think you should chat with Steve Ninbal about how the affiliation process is in fact going. But I would think that Caribbean boxing is at a lull at this time. Caribbean boxing is a low at this time. David Christopher, who's still the Lucha president, has kept the Caribbean activity going. But it needs to be going back to the days where Trinidad was really active. Guyana is very active. St. Lucia is very active. But that's where we stop. But I have a question from my friend Benji. If you were financed tomorrow to open a gym, I mean, your mobility is like mine. You know, we move slowly, but you've got the experience. You got the experience. You can see a boxer, see the talent, see what's wrong. If you were offered by a private sector to open a gym, would you be interested?
Of course I will be. I'm boxing oriented, and I believe I owe boxing something. Boxing doesn't owe me anything. Boxing has transformed me, transformed my life. Everything that I owe, that I got from in life, I got through boxing somehow, even if directly or indirectly. So to answer your question, Reds, yes.
Ozzy,
Well,
yeah, Ozzy, how do you think of I see you at a lot of amateur boxing fights every Friday night, and that Friday night program, it was stopped, and then it now being resuscitated. How important is that for the young boxers?
Well, that's very important to remember the initial program that was way back in 2010. The program, right when we saw the emergence of fighters like Hardy and the clue that fought the other day, right? It was very uplifting for the sport, right? But now I don't think, even though we don't have enough fighters to go around, or do we have enough fighters to go along with the program?
I don't think so. That's why I'm saying
Huh?
that the
Huh?
pool has gotten smaller, and
Or we have to go to the Caribbean. We have to bring in other fighters from the Caribbean and stage at the program there. It has to be a Caribbean thing now until we get the pool of fighters back up.
well, I know Steve Ninval, who is the director of sports in Guyana. He's also the president of the Guyana Boxing Association and an executive of the World Amateur Boxing Association. And he's doing a very good job because he's gotten boxers now to come here and hold the tournaments, and he's gotten the names of the past fighters, recognizing them. And that's another thing we don't do. We don't recognize our heroes. And
Yeah, well, at this last card when I think when we have a card of this magnitude again, our ex-champions should be invited, like what is done overseas in those big fights.
mhm.
And so they could be introduced to the public, so the public would know. We had Barry Cambridge there. He's a forgotten man in boxing. He had some epic fights with Benry here, right? Some of the best fights seen at the locally.
I
Those
saw
fights were world
Wayne
class
Harris
fights.
there also.
Wayne Harris was there, right? Then we have Terence Sally somewhere in Myconi. Somebody could have bring him down
I
and
was surprised I didn't see. Well, I didn't see
right.
Mike Paris because he's always
Mike
at
is Mike
those.
is not around in Guyana right now.
Oh,
I don't think Mike is around in Guyana right now. Right. But well, maybe there's things we should do, to get when we have a crowd of this magnitude, right? The ring-announcers did a very good job in educating the audience.
Excellent
I
right
must
chow pao.
commend him, Mr. Jordan.
Yeah.
Right.
Most people know him as
And
chow
we
pao.
could only learn from this. We could only learn from this experience. But we have to do a lot to get the boxing back, like in the mid 80s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s. In the 90s, we had people like Gary Sinclair coming out, right? And these other guys. Atwell was the last really very good amateur. He won a medal too, right? So we're gonna be it's gonna be a little bit more difficult now. You might have to hold it bi-monthly instead of every month now, right?
John, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, to our special guest, the historian, you described him. I remember when I grew up in Russell Street. Around the corner was the old Boston YMCA. I remember that when the national championships came up, there was over 120 boxers competing, where people had to fight or box 3 or 4 times before they got to a semi-final position. What's your recollection, sir, about the numbers now that compete in the national championships?
No comparison, sir. No comparison. I remember the championship.
I know that as in my time, sometimes boxers were required to fight twice one night.
Yes.
I fought many tournaments. I fought twice one night, and that was to facilitate the magnitude of boxers. You know, there were so many in a 4-night tournament or a 5-night tournament, and it could not facilitate the boxers each fighting one fight per night. So you found some boxers had to be fighting twice per night, you know, and that was when it was really going. I don't see that now, and that is not because you don't have talent, but because we just don't have the numbers. So that is one of the things we have to look at also, getting back the boxers in the numbers and, you know, getting them trained at the respective gyms. And before I go to that also, next worry and concern, the gyms are so few. I don't think the Forgotten Youth Foundation is active anymore. The 6-year gym that's more or less consumed. The Forgotten Youth Foundation, no, not Forgotten Youth, the Young Achievers have been consumed in the 6-year gym, and we don't have the Save the Children gym, the Republican gym that is now dormant. We just don't have the gyms.
And the West is dead.
Pardon me?
All by strong one.
Yeah. The West End gym.
No, that's done. That's dead. That was pulled down. That building was pulled down.
That's history.
That building was pulled down. That building was pulled down the other day.
And the YMCA needs pulling down.
All right,
So-
let's take. You want to say something else before we go?
No, I
for
was no, it's okay. I was just polishing off that. That's okay.
All right, let's go for a short pause for business costs, and then we'll be right back.
Cleaning.
We touch everything. Tables, toys, countertops, door handles, sinks. Mighty Foam's all-purpose cleaner is my secret weapon. Easy and effective with no sticky residue. Mighty Foam all-purpose cleaner. Enjoy all of life's textures. It's here! Igloo Ice Cream Fruit Bars. 4 mouth-watering flavors. Mango, pineapple, strawberry, and soursop. A beautiful combination of real fruit and igloo ice cream. Go old school with fluty popsicle. Classic flavors and refreshing goodness. Available at Igloo outlets and all your favorite shops.
Sundays are for KFC Sunday Special Bucket Deal. Buy a 6 or 9 piece bucket meal and get an extra piece of crispy, juicy chicken. Or go big with a 15 or 20 piece bucket meal and get 2 extra pieces. That's even more of your KFC favorites to share. So gather the family, call your friends, and make it a Sunday feast like no other. Only at KFC, where Sundays are made tastier. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Looking for quality lumber for your dream home or an upcoming project? Then make Builders Lumberyard your premier provider. We provide a full selection of rough and dress lumber, such as Green Heart, Purple Heart, Kabakali, all types of mixed hardwood, Silver Bali, Ditarma, and many other species. We also stock clean and knotted pine doors in various sizes, qualable posts, farm boards, plywood, and all types of molding. Orders can be cut to any specification and delivered to your worksite. With over 25 years of experience in the lumber industry, we are determined to provide a quality lumber that meets our home builders and contractors' every need. Builders Lumberyard and you will always be a winning combination. Visit our main office at 12 Lombard and Deroy Street or our branch office at 66 Ben Street, Georgetown, or telephone 225-9530 227-0904.
Now Milko has done it again. We've listened to you and now available nationwide. Another convenient size packaging of Thunderbolt all-purpose flour. It's here. The 5 kg or 11 pounds new packaging of Thunderbolt all-purpose flour. Now available at your nearest supermarket.
National Milling Company of Guyana.
Attention seafood suppliers, Dave's, the largest purchaser of fresh fish from Guyana, is interested in buying from you. Dave's deeply cares about bolstering the local economy and is looking to begin business with an eager seller of fresh fish and agro products. Dave's needs a constant supply of snapper, butterfish, bangameri, bundari crab, sheriga crab, white belly shrimp, bon carilo, edo, saijambaji, and more. Contact Dave's West Indian Imports at 21 Middle Street, Vicelas, East Coast, Demerara. Telephone 501-4087 or 644-8999. Dave's will purchase.
Yeah, well, welcome back to the Sean Devers Sports Watch. We're talking boxing tonight. We've identified a few problems. Now we're looking for the solutions to those problems. Benji, what do you think would be the solution to having those cards resuscitated and bringing back the youngsters? As you said, the pool is smaller now. How do you see, boxing in schools is not a good thing, because many people wouldn't want their youngsters, and especially girls, and we got to talk about female boxing also, girls, to be hit, because boxing is a contact sport. I know there was one time they was teaching boxing in schools and non-contact. You teach them the technique, but not the physical connection of gloves on skin. How do you think we could go about getting more youngsters involved in boxing?
Well, it is always the schools that is targeted in order to bring someone, to encourage youngsters into sport, because remember that's their learning period, they're most impressionable at that time and everything. So, somehow it has to be through the schools. There has been some skepticism, yes, in terms of introducing boxing at the level of the school, because they were saying, look, boxing is a contact sport. You don't want our children to be hurt or anything like that. But, for me, boxing can be administered, and I think they tried it once, I'm not quite certain. School boxing, they called it, where boxing is taught at a level where there's not much contact, but the maneuvers and the moves and like that is taught. I go back and I say to you that I do so carefully, because I'm always being told I look back. But I have to, because that's where I learned boxing. I became a boxer in North Rival Lateral School. While there, one day we were in the assembly, and Mr. Sylvester, the headmaster, turned and said, "Okay, we have a guy coming here who is interested in teaching boxing. The guy was no other than Cliff Anderson. We were introduced to him. We were told he was a former British Commonwealth contender because I think he fought, is it Al Phillips? I think that's the name of the person who he fought, and he was given a raw deal. There was this belief that Cliff had won the fight. So much so when he came home, and I think Reds will have that history. When he came home, they actually they made a makeshift Commonwealth belt and they strapped it around his waist and everything. But back to what I was saying though, Cliff came to the gym, his duffel bag over his shoulder, nice cheery, duffy young man, fat and everything, jolly and everything. And from the time I saw Cliff, I liked him. He had a very captivating personality. And we started off like that. We started boxing in school under the guidance of Cliff. Yes, we were not doing school boxing. We were actually doing contact boxing. But Cliff was always on the lookout because the slightest hurt that a boxer, one of the students got, he would stop it and make sure he was always commanding the sessions. So I'm saying that it is possible. I went through that, and no one fell and died. No one was injured beyond belief. So I'm saying that it can be, but it has to be done under strict supervision, very strict supervision.
Ozzy, why do you think that this present time, it's more money, more technology, more everything, and the standard is less? That's the only thing less, the standards, and they even got better facilities. So why do you think that all the sportsmen in general, cricketers, footballers, and everybody, are looked at as better, or not better? They were a higher standard than this generation.
We want more competition. There was more competition. Now, if you look at simple cricket, we had 3 divisions. We had every week cricket, the boxing, the quality cards, the had three tournaments, and then there were more scouting for talent. You have to go and scout for talent around the country, right? That's the only way you would get the numbers. You might get the numbers that we had in the 70s and 80s, but if we started to do, because they got a lot of youngsters you know, who might like boxing, but it's just that somebody got to go into the fields and motivate them, right, and bring them out. We gotta go. We could go to the length and better this country and get talent. Even let them and all over Bobbies. Bobbies produce a lot of good fighters.
Do one thing.
Then, right? And so that's my opinion. So we have to do talent scouting.
Yeah, well, you spoke about cricket. I want to say congratulations to Tejan Chandrapal. He batted through the innings, carried his bat, 170 not out. But one of the reasons that I am not going to Antigua is because the same thing you're saying. How would one country play another country, the same country, 3 times in the same different country? That doesn't make sense. We could have had every team play each other, and then you find a real champion. So enough about that. This is a boxing program. So that's why I haven't gone to Antigua, because that's a nonsensical format. But I heard that's because of funding. Reds, what do you think that we can do to get back to the days of boxing as it was in the past?
I think the answer has already come out on this program. Ozzy, I want you to go back to when I was around, when you were around, when Michael Belger was around. How many gyms we had then in British Guyana? How many gyms we had in Guyana? Can you recall the gyms?
Yes, we had the Western, we had Albistrong Wild, we had Republican, we had Bauxite Bombers,
4,
we had
5,
the GDF,
6, police.
GDF, that police, right? We had the gym out, we had Salem Gym.
Yep.
We had a gym out of we had some gyms out of Borbies.
They had the prisoners gyms.
Well,
We had
that's the Republicans.
Yeah,
This is
Republican.
Republican.
Yeah,
we had the Linden
They're not
bombers.
bauxite bombers.
yeah,
We
bauxite
had
bombers.
fighters
Yeah.
like Wiltshire. You had fighters like Paul Wiltshire and this other guy. I think Terence Sally was at bauxite bombers and went Walter Smith. And these guys were from bauxite bombers.
Well, Ozzy, aren't we answering the question?
Yes, we are.
Why this is so low?
It's,
Therefore, I would think that Sean needs to ask Steve Neville to come and look at the question of reviving the gyms.
Well, on my
You know-
last boxing program to promote this fight we had Saturday, that was the discussion also. We need more boxing gyms across the country, proper boxing gyms.
Scouting is important than the gyms.
Yeah. But then you have to get proper coaches if you get more gyms. And we need a proper state of the art boxing gym, at least one or two.
Sean, you're going down the wrong line. You don't want one state-of-the-art boxing gym. You need the kind of numbers that Ozzy just talked about. You need a high level of boxing gyms. That's why I said earlier that boxing gyms got to be structured differently, not just the coach and maybe a manager and the boxers. And I think you need to build back up the gym system. And the gym system has to be a more structured gym where they can raise their own funds, where they can look after their boxing. I also want to go back to this question of schoolboy boxing. The best boxers all over the world come from the working class, come from the grassroots. They're not going to come from secondary schools. Secondary schools are interested in medicine, they're interested in doing law, they're interested in science, they're interested in being teachers, they're interested in the modern technology. I'm saying that the focus has got to be on the many unemployed youths, boys and girls in Guyana, right? Those are the potential talent. The gyms, for those who are not working and not in school, Aussie, can be open during the day, right? If you have a gym, open it between 10 and 12. Invite the people on the bridge, the people on the blocks to come into the gym. That's where you're going to get your future champions, your future stars. And I'm not...
I forgot one gym. The gym that Benji came from, National Service Gym.
Exactly. It's not reinventing the wheel, Ozzy. We need to get back those 6, 8 gyms you're talking about, and all of a sudden the numbers will change, the standards will go higher. It is easy for Steve Linville to organize a training program for potential coaches. That's not reinventing the wheel. And he can. He's got the contract. But we've got to get the gyms. And I remember about 2 years ago, the Minister Ramson, was talking about focusing on boxing. And to focus on boxing, you got to begin with the gyms. You got to begin with the gyms. And you got to cater for the out-of-school young people. It can have an impact on young people in crime, because if you have an unemployed boy or unemployed girl who is keen in boxing, that's one person less who might be led astray. So I think the key to tonight's program is gyms. Let's bring back the 12 gyms that we used to have. We've called them all. And I think basically, let's look where the talent lies. The talent lies with the grassroots population.
Well, presently at the amateur level, there's a gym in West Demerara. There are 2 in Borbies, New Amsterdam, and Rosaltong Bombers. I think there's one in Linden. So there are gyms across Guyana, but not as much as they should be.
Sean, are these gyms in names or are these gyms with equipment, with numbers and things like that? You gotta be careful how you use the word gyms loosely.
That's what I was saying. That we need proper gyms. That like one proper gym. That's the international gym where everybody would go. Then you come out from your gym, and you graduate to go there. The gym with swimming pools, weights, a proper boxing gym with multiple rings, speed balls, heavy duty boxing ball, all these things.
So,
We don't
listen to
have
me.
that.
When you go to see the children gym, back in the day, you had about 15, 20 boxers in the gym one time. You used to have got two separate, two sessions. I
But
remember
we don't
going
have
to
that now.
Save the Children, right? And then you go to Western Gym. You go to Albion Wide. That was populated too.
There was a
So
boxing
that's how
gym
we got to do
in
the scouting.
Kitty where they had a indoor pitch. That's
That's
saying
Dowden's Gym you're talking about.
Dowden's gym.
Dowden's Gym.
No, nothing is being done there now. It's gone.
But Sean, you're defeating your own point you're making. Nothing is happening.
Yeah. I'm not saying that things is happening, Reds. I'm saying that we need those things to happen. We've got some small gyms around the place, but we need a good, proper boxing gym like we had in the past.
No, I got there. We had, as Rez was saying, we had many gyms.
Yeah, many gyms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not we didn't have. We had many gyms, right? And the standard was high. But you see the GDF and the police had the advantage because they had all the facilities, but yet the competition was stiff. You understand? The competition was stiff because fighters from Republicans come out hungry, fighters from Albion hungry. So they come out to prove a point that they could beat up the army counterparts or the police counterparts.
And for the last couple of years, well, it goes into decades, GDF Boxing Gym has dominated the local boxing championships because of the magnitude of fighters at GDF. But now, since I am always referring to Poole's demise, since Poole has died, it's not the same. You saw boxing at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall. We saw boxing mostly at the gymnasium, and there were GDF drummers. They had big crowds. That's not the case now, unless it's the final night, the night of the finals, and GDF boxers are involved. And even the GDF boxers in numbers have lessened.
But Sean, those crowds cannot compare when we used to go to the sports hall, you can't get in.
Yeah.
They used to have to get a horse, people, the police to come and control the crowds. I remember back in the day, Anthony Barrow, Mike Paris, and them guys fighting, right? You couldn't get into the sports hall if you go on time. The sports hall overspilled. And then, too, I was suggesting to the late Poole, too, before he died, right? Well, at the time, we had one or two promising boxers. I say we could bring in some Cubans, not the top of the line ones. Bring in some Cubans like Gaza's done. Ghana had an exchange program back in the day. We saw some brilliant fights. We saw Darius Ford against Jose Guerra. We saw Campagnoni and Anthony Andrews, right? Joe King Campagnoni, right? And we saw a lot of it was a very good boxing at the time. But they got to get the program on first. We gotta go and scope for talent. Then we gotta get the gym system and cup.
And female boxers are worse. The situation is only the Jackman sisters, a girl from Linden, like 6 girls are good female boxers, and we don't see so many female boxers coming up in these days. I remember our 2 world champions, Alfred and O'Neill. And they should be inspiring young girls to get into boxing. I know most of the parents again wouldn't want their young girls to get into a sport like boxing. But the Jackman sisters, both sisters are in boxing, and nobody has been seriously hurt.
That's why at an event like what we had on Saturday, Alfred should have been there and, should go to the ring, a former world champion, and, females would see her and say, wow, that is Alfred. He
Yeah,
was a
but
boxer. Look at
she's
her. Look
always
how she's sprinting.
at the gymnasium with the local fights. I'm sure something probably happened why she wasn't there, because she loves boxing and she would go. But those are the days when we had those boxers. We even had a lot of other female boxers in Guyana.
Yeah, but the peak, Guyana, the days in Guyana for boxing was between the 70s, 80s, and the 90s, probably the 90s. Well done. And then we had a lull, and then Sixed and Big Chuck in the early 2000s. Royal Frank. Royal Frank came over from the 90s. Royal Frank and Benji had two epic fights, right? Benji too is world championship quality. I tell people don't understand this boxing game. There are people who could have been world champions, but for some reason, Benji beat two former world champions, Ernesto Espano and Suel Mombi. You understand? Barry Cambridge was world rated. He was number 7 in the world too. Benji and him split fights. Those are Brian Muller and Albert Brown. These were epic fights at the sports hall. In the amateur level, you had Gordon Peru and Donald Allison and these guys. And you going back, you had Winfield Braffett and Teacher McKenzie.
Yeah.
Well, I think we are answering questions that needs to be tackled. A lot of good information. Why is the standard so low? Why the numbers are so low has come out on this program because we've all been honest. It's how we see the revival. How we see the revival. And by the way, Sean, you started by saying Reds can broadcast just about everything. That is not true at all. I've been able to do 6 things: cricket, basketball, boxing, football, motor racing, and table tennis. That's all I have done. So do not promote me as being able to. I've never done horse racing. I've never done rugby. I just want to give you two examples.
Well, I heard a rumor that you did fishing at the National Park.
Okay, let's put that to bed once and for all.
You never did that.
No, I'm going to tell you the truth about that's alleged story.
Yeah.
Money Finance and I opened 2 pools with tilapia. When the fish began growing, we invite the public to come and with their rods and with their baits and fish open free. They didn't have to pay. All I did was to interview the people who came. I did not do a commentary on boxing.
On fish, fishing.
With the
I
fish.
would like to hear that commentary.
and the hook is now thrown in the water, and the fish is biting, and he loose and it's gone, and he come back again. And he's caught it.
But then, Red, Red, you have a captivating way of thing. I'm quite sorry you have made that interesting.
No, but the guys on the road guys would say Reds would commentate anything, even bomb and litty.
You would have been able to commentate that fishing incident,
All I did was to interview the people who came to fish. How long you been fishing? What's the techniques like, right? So I think let's not don't take it out of context, Sean. Right?
All right. That's a joke, though. I heard it as a rumor.
Yes, but you repeat it a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a professional. I came through the professional hard way, right? Myself and Tony Kosher had no Google, we have no cricket info, right? We had all.
I remember the days when you all had to telex your stories to the papers.
So,
We've got it so easy nowadays.
It's so easy to produce a sportscast these days. You don't have to leave your house. Anyhow, I really enjoyed Aussie. I really enjoyed my old friend Michael Benjamin. And there's food for thought to the administrators of boxing, to the National Sports Commission. One of the things I would like to see as we're talking Sports Tourism 2027 is a Golden Gloves, Guyana Golden Gloves, where we can invite South America and invite Central America to match up against our boxers, the Golden Gloves. It will be well attended. There will be, of course, a cutoff point in numbers, but you can't have too many numbers. You will box for 2 weeks. But I'd like to see a Guyana Golden Gloves. Anyway, good night to all, and really I appreciate being part of this show from my humble little abode here in Castries, St. Lucia.
All right, and before we go, let's just talk about how many world champions Guyana's produced. Andrew Sixhead, Wayne Big Truck Braffett, Vivian Harris, Gary Sinclair, that's 4. Well, I had Andrew Murray, but Andrew Murray actually fought for a world title but lost. So he's no longer, he's out of the list. And if you add in Dennis Andres, as you said, he wasn't fighting for Guyana, he's a Guyanese. And there are 2 females, Gwendolyn O'Neill and Shondell Alfred. So in actual fact, Dari is now the 7th, correct?
Yeah, that's correct, Sean. Because
your math teacher will be proud of you, Sean.
Well, my math
that's
teacher
correct,
used to
Sean.
don't proud of me at all, because that was my worst subject.
Because I noticed in the press that the thing was in the press,
The
right?
8th, yeah.
They're saying that it was the 8th. It was the 8th.
Yeah, maybe
I
they
don't know how they got
included Andres.
Andres represented.
Yeah, we know he represented Britain
another
and all
country.
of those. Yeah, Britain. And maybe because he was
Andres,
born in Guyana.
I had a chat with Andres some time ago, and he wanted to come and fight under the Ghana flag, but he said nobody took him on, thing like that.
All right.
But anyhow, but that was it. It is what it is.
All right, this is where we have to say goodbye tonight. It was a interesting program, a lot of information. On behalf of the veteran Reds Pereira, tempted to say he commentated everything, and the former lightweight national champion, middleweight, welterweight, welterweight.
Junior welter, 3-time,
yeah,
3 divisions.
And a journalist, Mike Benjamin.
Fecker box champion.
Yeah, and of
the man is
course.
So guys, you can't call out all that to do. If you reel off, I can do like Reds. I can say, okay, this I did fishing. Okay, go ahead.
All right, and Ozzy, and of course the champion who came for a brief stay. So I'm Sean Devers, and if you can't be good, then be careful.
Okay, Sean, thank you a lot for that. Bye-bye.
Night, everyone. Night.
Now Milko has done it again. We've listened to you, and now available nationwide. Another convenient size packaging of Thunderbolt all-purpose flour. It's here. The 5 kg or 11 pounds new packaging of Thunderbolt all-purpose flour. Now available at your nearest supermarket.
National Milling Company of
Attention seafood suppliers, Dave's, the largest purchaser of fresh fish from Guyana, is interested in buying from you. Dave's deeply cares about bolstering the local economy and is looking to begin business with an eager seller of fresh fish and agro products. Dave's needs a constant supply of snapper, butterfish, bangameri, bundari crab, sheriga crab, white belly shrimp, bon carilo, edo, saijambaji and more. Contact Dave's West Indian Imports at 21 Middle Street, Vicelas, East Coast, Demerara. Telephone 501-4087 or 644-8999. Dave's will purchase.
Igloo sugar-free ice cream. Sugar-free ice cream.
Impossible that you're singing about ice cream without added sugar right now. I mean, how's that going to taste?
It's the best, most delicious I've ever tasted. The premium French vanilla flavor is so rich and velvety. Plus, my gym instructor approves. It's great for my weight loss.
So it's really delicious? Like you aren't kidding me? The children! No added sugar could be healthier for them. And Grandpa Glenn, with his diabetic condition. You mean he could finally enjoy desserts after all these years? I have to go. I have to get this.
Grab Igloo's sugar-free ice cream before she does.
With 70% ethyl alcohol, Mighty Foam Hand Sanitizer eliminates 99.99% of all germs and even moisturizes in the process, leaving your skin clean and hydrated. Mighty Foam Hand Sanitizer. How do you stay clean?
Looking for quality lumber for your dream home or an upcoming project? Then make Builders Lumberyard your premier provider. We provide a full selection of rough and dress lumber, such as Green Heart, Purple Heart, Kabakali, all types of mixed hardwood, Silver Bali, Ditarma, and many other species. We also stock clean and knotted pine doors in various sizes, qualable posts, farm boards, plywood, and all types of molding. Orders can be cut to any specification and delivered to your worksite. With over 25 years of experience in the lumber industry, we are determined to provide a quality lumber that meets our home builders and contractors' every need. Builders Lumberyard and you will always be a winning combination. Visit our main office at 12 Lombard and Deroy Street or our branch office at 66 Ben Street, Georgetown, or telephone 225-9530 227-0904.
Finger licking good, yeah, yeah. Got we in the mood for sharing. Come and join the party at KFC. Get us in a sandwich, I take a bite. It's the best flavor.